5 years ago, I left the place I'd call home since my childhood with nothing more than 700 euros in my pocket and my best friend by my side. My first destination was the other side of the world, Sydney, Australia, where I started a trip that was supposed to last about 3 months. Well, at least that's what I told my parents. Because it eventually turned into a life-changing adventure that keeps on going to this very day. Since 2012, all I've done is travel around the world, travel in different continents, live in different countries, and live in different cities together with my partner, Haley. From all these adventures, a travel blog was born, the Modern Mavericks, a platform where, along with my partner, I share everything I've learned during my trips. Running a travel blog, I get a lot of people asking me, how do you manage to constantly travel? But 99% of the time, I don't get people asking me something, but rather telling me something. What do they keep telling me? They keep telling me that I am very lucky to do what I do. And this is exactly what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about luck. Let's try something real quick. Please raise your hand if at least once in your life you called another person, friend or stranger, lucky. Believe most of us have, right? A few people don't raise their hand. You guys have a lucky life, like you have a great life. Most of us have. So what's the big deal about calling another person lucky? When I talk about luck, I want to make sure we are all on the same page here. I am truly grateful for many things that I have in life, such as friends, health, family. But people are confused with the terminology of the word itself. True luck isn't me traveling. True luck is the fact that I was born in a well-developed country, not in a war zone. True luck is the fact that I was born in a family with parents who could feed me every day, not as an orphan. Now that is true luck, something that was acquired purely by chance and not through someone's effort. The toxic part here is that the people who tend to call me lucky usually have been dealt with similar cards to me in their life, if not better. And people are, I don't know whose phone is that, but I'll find out soon. What was I saying? Yeah, so the toxic part is that the people who call me lucky usually have been dealt similar cards to me in their life, if not better. And people are quick to forget that living a nomadic lifestyle, I am forced to sacrifice a lot of life's luxuries, security, but also safety. So why do you keep coming up with this awkward, wrongly used word, luck? You know it's the wrong adjective. You know it doesn't translate what you're trying to express, and yet you still say it. And I get it, it's a simple word that we use just because. It's a habit. But it's a habit that I'm trying desperately to get rid of. And the reason why I force myself to stop calling other people lucky is because it is in fact the very first step of you staying in your comfort zone. When you call someone else lucky, ultimately it means that this person possesses something that you somehow find attractive. Something that you wish you had in your life, but for some reason you don't. And yet, you barely look into how they got it. You assume that obtaining this thing is simply out of reach. And using the term luck is, well, actually rather genius. You trick your mind by making yourself believe that the reason you don't have it is not your fault. You make yourself believe that you don't have the means to acquire it, and the people who have were probably just lucky. You don't need to change. Your ego stays intact. You don't need to step out of your comfort zone. What happens is that you create a mental process that justifies your potential lack of action. And every time you call someone lucky for his life, for his travel, for his partner, or even for his financial success, you're subconsciously creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. You decide at this precise moment not to look any further into the how or the why these things happen to them. And I get it. It's something that we say And most people don't even pay attention because it's a small sentence, it's a small word. But this is why it's such a poisonous habit. A few weeks ago, my girlfriend, she posted a status on Facebook explaining how excited she was about coming to Brussels for the TEDx. And then you have a few people commenting it. I want to draw your attention to this last comment over there. By now, I am able to spot this mental process as soon as I hear someone throw the word lucky around. Because it just reminds me of the old me. The old me that instead of getting inspired by something I liked, getting inspired by something I was looking up to, and actually do something about it, would just block any move towards that goal. And all of this was happening completely unconsciously. And I remember clearly the day it hit me. Haley and I were coming back from a photo shoot in Portugal by the cliffs, where I actually almost died. Turned out it was not a good idea to stand on one hand next to a 200 meters cliff. And on the way back to this photo shoot, we were driving past all these beautiful houses on the coastline of Portugal. Like, these houses were incredible, like 3-story houses with infinity pool overlooking the sea. And I remember stopping in front of that one particular house and thinking, the person living in that house is so lucky. I wish I had a house just like that. And then my brain bugged for a minute. I started laughing at myself. I felt stupid for a moment. I just realized I was sabotaging myself. Instead of wondering how I could achieve getting a house like that, I was just assuming it was out of my reach. And then I thought, what is the person doing, what the person living in that house doing differently than I do? What lessons should I try and learn from this feeling of jealousy? So I remember thinking, what if I got out of my car right now, walked to that door, rang that bell, and told this person, hey, what do you in life? I want a house just like that when I'm older. I'm 25. What's your biggest advice? Did I go and ring the bell? No, of course. I didn't. I was way too scared. But that was a mistake. Who knows what could have happened if I had actually gone there and talked to this guy or to this person? Might be a woman. Who knows? From that day, though, something had changed in my mind. I realized that it was time to take real actions on my dreams and desires, and it started by being honest with myself. No more excuses, no more, oh, this person is so lucky. I know that everyone here has commitments and problems and things going on in their life, so it's not always easy. But I guarantee you that somewhere in the world, someone with the same problems and the same commitments as you is killing it right now. So what's your excuse? Everything becomes a reality from the moment that you allow your mind to see it as a reality. So when you see someone who is living the dream, or who is doing something that you really like to do in your life, as soon as you hear yourself calling this person lucky in your mind or saying it out loud, try and ask yourself these 3 questions. First of all, why am I feeling this envy? What is it that this person does or has that you want too? And it doesn't have to be financial success. It doesn't have to be travels. Each and everyone has his own vision of success and his own goals. Second question, how did they get there? What is it that they do that you're not doing in your life? What's their behavior? What time do they wake up in the morning? Who are they hanging out with? How do they educate themselves? And finally, last but not least, how can I do it too? How can you apply this behavior to your reality, to your life? You will realize that life gets inspiring really quickly. Getting inspired, though, is the first step. But taking action is key. Because ideas without execution are worthless. A few months ago, Haley and I, we traveled to Sri Lanka, where we worked as volunteers in a hostel so that we could travel around the country while saving money. All we had to do was to work a few hours behind the bar, and in exchange for that, we get free accommodation. Very easy. One day I was chilling on top of the rooftop at the hostel, and I overheard the story of another girl. What she did was to offer to shoot promotional drone videos in exchange of a 2 weeks free stay in each hostel she was going to. Now, that was a much better deal than I had. And yet, my first reaction was to call this girl lucky, followed by many excuses of why I couldn't do it. I don't have a drone, drones are freaking expensive, and I don't know how to fly a drone anyway. And all these negative thoughts flood in my mind because this is what my brain does to keep me in my comfort zone. And it is precisely here that you can decide to let that happen, or you can take control of that thought process and actually turn it to your advantage. And this is exactly what we did. My partner, Haley, she is a very skilled photographer. And after scrolling through a few pages from booking.com, she quickly realized that the hotel pictures in Sri Lanka were pretty crappy and that she could take much better shots with her camera. If this girl had done it with a drone, maybe we could do something similar, but with our skills. So we spent hours and hours collecting business and hotel data from all around the country. We drafted a rather convincing email, including Haley's portfolio, and we told each and every hotel manager who we were, what we did, and how we could help. Believe me or not, within minutes, the answers started flooding in. The result? We ended up staying in amazing 5-star hotels all across Sri Lanka for a whole month for free. Luck? I don't think so. I believe that the people we tend to call lucky are people who actually simply live a meaningful life. People who can make a living doing something they're truly passionate about. That being said, getting there is not easy. What's terribly easy, though, is to get lost in a rhythm that's dictated by the social norms and to forget what's truly important, to live your life. Not the life your parents want, not the life your friends want, but the life you want. And this doesn't only apply to young people. And this is important to point out. This doesn't only apply to young people. It is relevant whatever age you are. See, my mom, she switched from a corporate job she wasn't really passionate about to being a language teacher at the age of 50. She waited all this time. She even waited for a company to go bankrupt to finally take the leap and do the job she should have been doing all these years. Why let these external factors be in control of your life? The satisfaction she now gets from the job is simply unbelievable. She won't stop talking about it. We have to shut her up all the time, literally. A good friend of mine told me once that we have to stop being so hard on ourselves. We are what we are, we love what we love, and we don't need to justify it to anyone else, not even to ourselves. I love traveling, and I want to create a lifestyle that enables me to travel whilst making a living long term. As simple as that. This is my happy place. Being a teacher was my mom's happy place. What's yours? I believe that in your head, you all have an ideal lifestyle where you can make a living doing something you're truly passionate about. But to make a living something that you love, you will have to work 3 times as hard as everyone else. If you want to do what you love, you need to see it as a privilege, not an expectation. But the reward is huge. So the next time you see yourself or you catch yourself calling another person lucky, remember that you have to work hard to create your own luck. And the day that you start to hear other people calling you lucky, it probably means that you are on the right track. Thank you.